Hey, what's going guys? I'm Mr. here. So I'm just gonna take a minute to get all the admins like stuff out of the way before we start this video. First of all, as you all probably guessed, thank you all so much for 100 subs. It's been many years. I've really enjoyed doing this as a small time, YouTuber and stuff, and to have 100 people supporting me, it's pretty neat. Although most people won't even think about it, but just thank you all for the support. I was intended to do a Grand Gallop deck profile as well, but Hell Tiger has been delayed. Even though it's already September, I may not even get the chance to review it soon. I know Different Fight has reviewed his deck. I'm gonna say right now, I've been testing Gallop for over 100 days since the reveal, and I'm very confident with what I have with Gallop. But I don't have a list unless you want to see proxies, which I think is pretty. It's pretty pathetic to show off proxies in the deck profile. You have to show the real thing, But today, this is on Nightrose, and a lot of you have seen various builds on Nightrose, which is probably why I delayed this video. Oh, and Greed Shade, because this guy cost me a fortune. Well, Nightrose decks, you probably guess, aren't cheap, and thanks to the millions of very horny teenagers in Asia, you have probably seen a lot of builds about him. And a lot of people try and sell it off because, it's not performing to what they want, You see a lot of people playing a lot of crits. I see something like 10 crits, 2 draw PG, and then, the rest is healed, And then they try all sorts of weird ratios. I see people trying, that ship, the Soul Blast 1 Superior Call. I see people trying, just a lot of things in general. But when you look at these decks, you can tell what's a staple and what's not, and what's a tech choice and what's not. And it's kind of irritating because everyone has almost the same build, and yet when you actually play them, they are so different. I seen this build by Commander Jamie. You can check it on YouTube. He tried Skeleton Seas Navigator, as I myself have, with 7 Seas, and he's pretty happy with his list that it works and whatnot. But I wasn't, because I tested it and I felt there are issues to it personally. No issues with him. He's a cool guy. So I tried to I tried to build out myself, and I realized that a lot of people are sleeping on draw triggers, like not just draw PG. I mean literal draw triggers. That this is actually another way that you could actually mill your deck, and I will go into more explanation later. But this is my build on what is possibly the fastest build of Nightrose you will see on the entire internet. I know that's why I said about 7 Seas video, it was 7 Seas deck, it's the fastest and most cheapest. Yeah, that's true, and it still is the fastest, but this is fast in a different way, because 7 Seas, when they mill, you could combo rope from the Night Spinel into the Night Runner into Night Spinel to Night. You could just mill, and then with Navigator just pouring in all the salt, you could just get like 40 card drop in like your first G3, right? And you have infinite consistency thanks to stuff like Night Runner. So that was that. This deck doesn't really run on that philosophy, and you will see why. Nightrose has to be a lot more restrained in the milling, because if you mill too much, you'll die, and it's quite obvious why, and I'll show you through this video. This video will be done similar to the 7 Seas vid, but not like my normal deck profiles. I'm going to show you the whole list, and then after that, I'll go through my deck choices. So please follow with me. I hope you do not regret it. 4 Wife, because Nightrose is best girl. 3 Skull Dragon. You will see most lists playing 2. That's cool and all, but I'm playing 3 because there are a few games where the Skull Dragon goes into the damage zone and you -1. Even if you mill the whole deck, you only have access to 1 left if you are playing 2. So I'm playing 3 as security. And you may say, hey, what about Column Bard? Doesn't Column Bard help you fetch it? Column Bard can only selectively mill 1 copy per turn. So if you are using Column Bard on Skull Dragon, then all your other pieces will just have to... Oops, damn, I knew that's gonna happen. All your other pieces will just have to, magically come to you, which is not something I'm quite a fan of. Personally, I just think 3 is a lot more reliable in this case, especially because from my build, the aim is to seriously turbo Skull Dragon and slap him as fast as possible with the fattest beat sticks ever 4 times. Yeah, you heard me, 4 times. We're not gonna just do this once or twice. We're gonna do this 4 times in a single turn, and we're gonna show you how. Yeah, we can leave Column Bard here. We play 4 Column Bard. Column Bard's an absolute staple in Granblue. Like, he's he's a greater staple than even Greedshape himself. And if you don't have Columbat, then you just can't play this deck. I'm sorry. I dare say that you can choose not to play Greedshape if you're on a serious budget. I mean, Greedshape is neat, it costs me a lot, but like I said, if you can't afford it, it's not the greatest problem in the world. You can play Ruin Shape, don't get me wrong. It seriously helps as well. So for Columbat, 3 Greedshape. Why 3? It's not I couldn't afford it. I could afford it so much. I bought a 5th copy of Nightrose to put on my wall. No, the reason why is because you seriously don't need 4. Because you'll see why. 2 Captain Nightmist, the OG. Why Captain Nightmist when you already have Columbat? Columbat is a once per turn, which means if you want to really combo extend, you're gonna have a problem. Because Columbat's a hard once per turn, if you use Columbat for the sake of board generation, you have nothing else to combo your attack with. Even Negrobone is during the main phase, so if you just want an extra kick from an extra Skull Dragon, please pick up your Captain Nightmist. This is something I see a lot of people not adding to their list. I mean, if your list just doesn't involve multi-attacking, go ahead. But no, if you are playing Nightrose like a normal person, please play Captain Nightmist. Even if you're playing Cocytus, please play, your Captain Nightmist at even 1 apiece. It is still useful. The only deck I think it's not useful in is 7 Seas, because you can rope and just fill the whole board with the Night Spinel, Night Runner, Night Spinel, Night Runner loop. You don't have to spend Counterblast on this. You could, but it's not necessary. Lastly, to Ghost Ship 2, because if you play anything more than that, it's a break. Good for your early game. You can use this with Columbat to just get a pretty good turn 2 attack, or even on your first G3 ride as Nightrose, it still helps. Other than that, you don't really use this because, once you go further up, you want to use Skull Dragon to slap them as hard as possible. You don't have time to ram them with a ship. I mean, you could if you need a draw, but at this point, you're aiming to close the game as fast as possible. This deck was built in consideration with the VBT 10 meta, so if you know what I'm talking about, you know you want to kill them before they go into their drivers. Moving on to the most controversial section of this list, the Great Ones. For Skeleton Sea's Navigator, he is I will not say the word main engine, because he's not. He is a good consistency bringer to mill 5 cards straight away. Just a side tip, he says rest 2 units. So first of all, it doesn't have to be him. Secondly, you can rest your Vanguard. If you're like, for example, on your first ride, if you go first, you'll be like, I ride $20 and then I'll call him to the back, and you wanna, just get started straight away. Well, yes, you can. You can rest both of them and just mill 5. Just go ahead, it's free. So if you're not attacking, of course, if you plan to attack, because you can attack, please don't do this. But in the case that you can't attack, this is an option, alright? It is an option. Now, one word of warning about Skeleton Sea's Navigator is because you can mill 5, like you can self-mill and just kill yourself really quick. I know Nightrose turns a man suicidal, she's turned me suicidal, but please don't actually kill yourself. Suicide is a temporary problem to a permanent. Suicide is a permanent solution to temporary problem. But besides that, you just don't want to mill yourself. So at most, I would say use Skeleton Sea's Navigator's effect about 2 to 3 times maximum in a game. You will see why, because we already have, like I said, draw triggers, so you really don't need to bang so much on Skeleton Sea's Navigator. And if you do, you're just mindlessly milling 5, you're not directly profiting unless you use it in conjunction with other skills, which you will see later. For Cutlass is the main counter-charging engine, and it is the only counter-charger Nightrose has. They have the other double rare Great One Zombie, which you could use, but the question is why. And it's a double rare. This thing is a rare, just it's cheaper and it's a lot more effective. You just need 2 copies of it in the drop. Bind 1, call 1, counter charge, mill 1. It's so simple and so effective. I'm really thankful that I managed to pick up Cutlass right before Nightrose was revealed, because damn, if I didn't, this deck would be a lot more expensive than it already is. But for Cutlass as an absolute must, please don't negotiate with me, it's just not gonna work. 3 Ripple Banshee. The card that shot up from $3 a piece to $20 a piece, or even higher, I don't know. Her skill is when placed from drop, Soul Blast 1, draw Pump 4. It's a really simple skill. The draw just helps. You only play 3 is the same reason why you only play 3 Greed Shade. They're all going to the drop, and you only have 5 rearguard slots, right? You don't need a full fill of Greed Shade to flex your superiority or anything. Just 1 to 2 copies on the board will do. And with 3 copies of each, you're definitely going to achieve that. Besides, if you're going in for Skull Dragon Hampton, you won't have space for her, and you'll see why. The last great one is for Negrobone. Negrobone is the main survive engine. And what do I mean by survive? Negrobone works from the drop zone where you discard a card, put it to the bottom of the deck. If you have, you can spirit call 1 great one, so, and your D's, but no, that's not what you're here for. If you have 10 or more cards in the drop, which is relatively easy to achieve thanks to, this guy, you can spirit call any card. And when I mean any card, you can do it in multiple ways. First of all, it's a free Skull Dragon call, so if I were you, I'm just gonna do it. Ah, damn, the camera again. You can just call the Skull Dragon again and just get an extra attack. So literally, you just create a free column and a free beater. 2, you could use Column Bard, because Column Bard can help extend again and build the board. Or 3, you could call Greed Shade, which I'm not sure why you would, because if you're at a stage where you're using Negrobone, you probably just want to end the game. But let's say you just want to filter your hand, build a bit more, then yeah, use Greed Shade, it's fine. Besides that, that's pretty much it. I know some builds play 3 Negrobone. I'm playing 4 because, like I said, we really just want to build the board as fast as possible, slap them and go home. So 4 is a bit more consistent. If you don't feel like it, you can play, 3. But for me, testing it, I think 4 is better. Because we have such a big drop zone, I may have forgotten to say this earlier, but you will literally never not be able to ride Nightrose, because you can just use Greed Shade to pick her up from the drop zone, or if you really need to, use Column Bard to feed her to the drop zone, and then after that, use Greed Shade to pick it up. So I just want to point it out since I just remembered it. This is one of the reasons why building a greater drop for Nightrose has a lot of benefits. Yeah, but of course, like I said, if you can't afford Greed Shade, it's not a problem. It's just, it comes with it, it comes with it. The high price of power. Oh no, too far. 4, not again. 4 crit sentinels, and another 2 more crit. That makes 6 crit. Then we play. Yeah, 6 crit, 6 draw, and then last but not least, 4 heal. Okay, the 4 heal is self-explanatory. I will move this out of the way. Now for this, why this lineup per se? This is the first time ever you will see this lineup, and for good reason. We play 6 crit, just like most people play at least 10 to 12 crit for Nightrose, because we want to end the game as fast as possible. Let's throw some crits, let's slap them and hope it works. Yeah, that helps, but you will see. Now it's time for the interesting part. What are you here for? 6 draw. Why 6 draw? Well, you see, draw triggers means you can draw. The more you draw, the more cards you have available to you. What does that mean? The more cards available to you means the more cards you can play, means the more cards you will eventually mill. Now, this is the reason why I said Skeleton Sea's Navigator can only be used twice to about thrice per game in a recommended ratio. If you play anything more, the draw triggers may end up milling you prematurely and you will just lose the game. So just keep that in mind if you're trying this build, that you play draw triggers. So don't get in a situation where you kill yourself on a complete accident, because it would definitely suck. Beyond that though, 6 draw really helps you to just draw. You get control of what you get when you mill indirectly. And besides, it has a defensive measure. When you damage check it, you get the draw. It's not like a crit trigger. Oh, crit, now what? You know, that kind of thing. So it helps. And there is a lot, and I mean a lot, of discard in the game. So you don't have to worry about it being dead weight loss. You have Negrobone, who can recycle any one of these cheap 50-cent cards into an instant 50k beater. You have Greed Shade, who can turn any one of these cards into a free anything. Consistency. You want more shield? Take this. You want a wife? Take Nightrose. You know, it's not too hard. It's really the most free thing ever. These are literally just, think about it as fodder tokens. These just help you speed through your deck. And that's what I really don't understand. So many people are averse to trying more draw triggers in Nightrose, and I want to understand why. I know you guys are here to end the game as fast as possible, but if you don't draw enough, you won't be able to build enough stuff and you'll just lose. Is that why everybody doesn't want to play Nightrose anymore? I'm not too sure. Alright, that's besides the point. And now, for the moment we've all been waiting for, Grenache. Okay, goodbye Grenache. Alright, so that's about it for the deck profile. Now for some big brain strategy and tips on how you can learn this deck to build the fastest Nightrose ever. Step 1. Your main priority is wife. If you don't have her in your hand, your first priority is to get her at any cost. If it involves milling with Greed Shade and getting her, do it. You will notice I'm not playing Tommy the Ghostly Brothers. I'm quite sad too. I like Tommy. But Tommy's skill only works on hand and only works for the top 5. If you use Skeleton Sea's Navigator, you could potentially mill about 10? And then use this. You now have 12 cards to look at. I should probably put this up here. You now have 12 cards to look at, and that's a lot more consistency than just 5. So keep that in mind. Another thing though that everyone should take note is that Columbard selective mill, like I said earlier, so you can just mill Nightrose and get her. But then again, there's one more thing, and that is that with the amount of draw power that you have, it is virtually impossible combining this and that together that you don't find Nightrose unless you just didn't shuffle your deck. So just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. Step 2, actually playing. When you actually play, your chips are used in the early game. Please do not try to use it in the late game. Spoiler, it doesn't work. I mean, it does, but why? You know, when you have access to Skull Dragon, who is the main beat stick of this game, you want to train or have 2 Skull Dragons in the drop. I mean, if all 3, that's okay, but you're aiming for 2 copies, you know. So that's what you want to try and do, because this is what you can do. Let me show you. So let me just set up something here. Where's my Grenache? Grenache. Okay, so let's say this is Nightrose, okay? So we're going to assume you have at least, let's say, a 20-30 card drop, okay? We're making that assumption in this scenario. So you can do this, okay? I call Columbard, skill, counterblast 1. I will mill a card, and then I'll superior call a card. Skull Dragon, alright? Seems pretty easy, right? Alright, what's next? Now, I can combo this guy's skill. Negrobone, I send 1 card to the bottom of it. I send 1 card to the drop. I put him at the bottom of the deck. And then I superior call 1 card from the drop, as long as I have 10 or more. Which, like I said, for this scenario, you do. Call Skull Dragon, right here. Then of course, what you'll do is to rearrange. Seems pretty neat, right? Swing for a very big attack, pass away. Swing for big attack, pass away. Swing with wife. Use a skill, superior call 2 cards. I will superior call Captain Nightmist here. And then I'll superior call Skull Dragon here. I'll use Captain Nightmist skill, counterblast 1, and then I'll superior call another Skull Dragon back here. As you have just clearly seen from my very budget demonstration, we can now achieve 4 attacks with Skull Dragon. The thing is, like I said, Skull Dragon's viability really scales with the drop, so that is why you really need to combo and play it well. Oh, and one more thing, there's a very nice Easter egg. If you look at my board right now, you'll notice that after I attack, this dies. Oh, she stays. This dies, you still have 2 rear guards at the back. So, you know, if you're a bit cautious about that kind of thing, just take note, because you can potentially deny a Dragonic Blade Master Sword. This is something that happened during testing. I just thought we need to mention. But then again, Soen is like nothing compared to Lua. That's your least concern. Alright, so that'll do for it for my Nightrose deck profile. I really hope you enjoyed it. I have tested this a lot, and that's why I'm confident enough to say that this is the fastest list you will get. Like I said, Skeleton Navigator, use it only twice to thrice in an entire game, because you have draw triggers in here. You will kill yourself. You don't want to kill yourself, you want to kill your opponent. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and thank you all for 100 subs. Like I said, really, it means a lot to me. The next few videos you will see will be very long from now. I'm going in for a lot of exams, so you will not hear from me until end of November. However, here are some things you can look forward to. I will definitely be doing a Dragonic Descendant deck profile. I will do it the first thing once I get my hands on it on the October release date. That's for sure. I will make sure I get it done as soon as possible. I will do a Sanctuary Guard Dragon deck profile. Yes, I've said it, I am building it, alright? So that's just another thing. And like I said, once Hell Tiger comes, I will do my Grand Gallop deck profile. If it comes too late though, or if it just never comes, you'll just never see it. So take that as a sign. But if any of you are really curious about this deck, have any questions for me in general, or just want to ask me about literally anything, please drop me a comment in the comment section below. I'll answer your questions, you know, unless if it's wholesome, something worth it, a genuine question, please ask. If it's, you know, not nice, don't ask, I guess. Just keep it to yourself. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Thank you.